Hello everyone, I'm Jennifer Shahade. Let's wake up Bobby. Hi everyone. What are we going to talk about today?
I don't know.
We're going to talk about the Polgar sisters. This position is white to move. This is when Judit Polgar was just 13 years old. Can you find the win? Let me remind you that Judit Polgar was known as one of the greatest attacking players of all time. Woohoo! Queen H7 check. What's your idea if I take it?
I don't know.
Well, you better know if you're going to sack a queen. Don't be sacking the queen of chess without knowing what your follow-up is.
Maybe it's no.
Better know before you know.
Okay, I know it's with this rook.
Okay.
Here.
Rook takes f7 check. Rook on 3 takes f7, and then if I play king h6, what happens?
That's a bad move.
Why? What would you do?
Off. You should haywire.
Yeah. Okay. And what if here?
And if you go up, it's a bad move too, but it's not as bad.
I can't go here because of the bishop.
Not actually that bad of a move though, because like there's no chance that you can win anyway.
True.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna move here.
And what's that?
Checkmate.
So your move queen h7 actually is similar to what happened in the game, also brilliant. She played queen g7 check, which I think is even more aesthetic because it's the queen right against the king. And now after king takes g7, same thing, rook f7. If king g8 or king h8, we get this double rook mate with the very nice addition that the bishop blocks the escape square here, right? Usually this type of situation happens like with this. But in this case, same deal. Whereas if they go here, rook to h7 is mate. What a stunner. High five. Netflix has released a documentary, The Queen of Chess, about Judit Polgar. And did you know that Judit Polgar comes from a family of amazing chess players? Did you know that? You did? Okay. Kind of like us, right?
Yeah.
What can you say about Judit Polgar? What do you know about her? We used to talk about her all the time.
But she even beat the one and only Mr. Eyeball.
I think you mean Magnus Carlsen. And Gary Kasparov, too.
Okay.
And if there was a super grandmaster named Mr. Eyeball, she would have beat him, too. And so Judit Polgar actually broke Bobby Fischer's record for becoming the youngest grandmaster of all time. Guess what age she did it?
14.
15. 15. 14 is very close. 15 and 4 months. Judit and her sisters Susan and Sophia were the ones to prove that women could be just as good at chess as men. Judit played for the World Championship several times. Susan also played the World Championship, and the funny part about that story is that was actually called the Men's World Championship when she qualified for it, so they didn't let her play. Isn't that crazy?
But why did they let her qualify for it?
That's a great question. That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, they've since changed the rules, so now women can play in the World Championship or the Women's World Championship. But another interesting thing about the Polgar sisters, which I think you'll be really interested in, was they didn't go to regular school. They were homeschooled. So they studied chess, they studied other subjects, they actually learned lots of languages, and they played a lot of ping pong. They were really good at ping pong.
I'm really good at soccer.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your question?
I have a question.
What's that?
How good at chess were they in kindergarten?
Great question. In kindergarten, they were homeschooled from the beginning. In fact, the father, László, had this idea that any child could become a genius if they were raised with the right upbringing and taught subjects methodically. So he wanted to prove that his daughters could all become geniuses. So what do you think they did to get so good?
Practice.
Yes. Lots and lots of play, lots and lots of study, and they were all like obsessed with chess.
Is Susan a grandmaster?
Yes, she's a grandmaster. Actually, this book is called The Cold War, Misogyny and the Making of a Grandmaster. So one of the things you asked is, how do people like Magnus Carlsen and the Polgar sisters get so good so young? Well, one of the main reasons is pattern recognition. What's pattern recognition mean?
You do the exact same pattern many and many and many.
But what's a pattern?
Okay, so we go here, we go here, we go here, we go here.
What's a
The
pattern?
king takes this, and then the king takes that, like that.
That's not exactly a pattern. That's more like a variation, like a calculation. A pattern, Fabian, is
Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate.
a pattern is like a type of checkmate or tactic that comes up again and again in slightly different manifestations or in slightly different versions.
Like
Right?
this would be a pattern.
Uh-huh.
Checkmate.
Right, exactly. Like a back rank checkmate is a perfect example.
Or-
Ooh, that's very nice, actually. It's a nice one.
This could be a checkmate.
That's a nice one.
Or
Yeah.
this could be a checkmate.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that is a perfect example. It's like this back rank checkmate, there's like a million of them, so many different ways to do it. And once you see one, if you're able to use that pattern in clever ways that your opponent doesn't see, you're going to get better a lot faster. So pattern recognition is all about seeing something and then finding something similar in a game. And the greatest talents are able to do this in really creative ways where you'd be like, that doesn't look like the other thing. But to them, it does. Now, young Carissa Yip, international master who's going for her grandmaster title, had a great game recently against a grandmaster where the final position reminded me a little bit of that Judit Polgar game. Now, in this case, it was just a variation. It wasn't what really happened in the game. But let's take a look. So she was trying to see what would happen if her opponent made this move, queen e2, and tries to run down the a-pawn. So this is kind of like a battle of ideas. On one side, we have black trying to make a queen. On the other, we have white trying to attack. So, for example, rook b1, and now a3, rook b7, a2, trying to make the queen. Rook takes f7. The queen is made, so black now has two queens. By the way, this was a variation that Carissa herself showed on a Lee Chess interview. So shout out. I'll include a link to that. Now, in this position, king h2 was Carissa's idea, allowing her opponent's two queens to live. Now, what can black do now? If I play rook takes f7, of course, you just have queen f7 and queen takes g7. That's a good idea, but it doesn't actually work because we can just play pawn takes e5. So Carissa's thought was that maybe black's best try here was to play king h8, thinking that now if rook takes g7, rook takes f5, and that whole idea of mating with the two rooks doesn't work because the king can escape to f8, right? Like, for instance, rook g7, rook f5, rook h7, and this is now winning for black, right? So that wouldn't work. So what's going on? Is this actually good for black? Or does white have something? Now think about that Judit Polgar game. What can white do here? Take right away, you have rook takes f5. Whoa, bingo! Now after king takes h7, what? That's right, rook takes g7. And I can't go to h6 because of this bishop, right? So I have to go here, and now what? There it is. So that's kind of a pattern recognition. Now, I'm not saying that Carissa had the idea of this Polgar game in her head when she played this combo, but it reminded me of it. And that's also something that's fun when you're studying chess, to make patterns yourself between different ideas and different games and different openings. All right, next game. Fabian, this is a game where Susan Polgar was playing white.
I'm already thinking about the move, and I think I see it.
And I really like this line. It's a really pretty one.
I'm thinking, though.
Technically, there are two good moves here, but it's so beautiful. A lot of times people say that if there's two good moves, it's not like a proper problem. And there is some truth in that, but this one is so beautiful that I feel like that's okay. Because they're actually both gorgeous. I think I like the one that Susan played in the game even more, but it's close. White to move and win.
Missed.
I mean, technically that's winning, but it's not as fast. Because what happens is if you play rook d7, this queen's going to come out and like start getting annoying, and you won't win as quickly as Susan, or as beautifully as Susan did in the game. Oh, so you're threatening mate. Now, what if I go here and take your rook? Then what?
Oh, la 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 la
Okay, queen b8, check. Now if bishop f e8, what happens?
Ooh la 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 la.
Yes, choose carefully. Very nice.
What
If queen e8, now queen takes e8, knight s6.
La 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 la.
That is stunning final mate. It's the two weaker pieces on the board, the knight and the bishop, against the two strongest pieces in the board. But in this case, the weaker ones win. Yay!
Yeah. I'll also code blue.
Well, if knight f6, why is this not as good? I have only one move here. What's my move? But luckily for me, it's a good one. I'm in check, so I have to take the knight. But then, what is that? That's a check. So that actually loses knight f6 right away. So you have to play queen e8 first. Beautiful. I have to tell you that I think the move played in the game is maybe as beautiful. It's hard to say. It's very close.
She's
what she did,
fancy.
what she did is she did queen takes b8 right away. Very nice, all right? And now with queen takes b8, what can white do? Now what? Yes, beautifully done, knight e4. Now there's no way to stop checkmate. Not even a single move, not even a spite check. Next move is going to be knight f6 checkmate. Very nice. So now we have a position from Sophia Polgar, who was the middle sister, and she also became a very, very good artist. She, in this position, is playing the black pieces. And she uses a tactic that we looked at in another recent video called the X-ray. So what would you do here as black? Okay, rook takes e2, and now if rook takes e2, what happens? Oh, sacking the queen, and then after rook takes h2, what? Well, if you sacrificed your queen and your rook, you better know what to do, because you're going to be down a lot of material if you don't have a mate.
It's called the Mr. Eyeball checkmate.
You're just saying that everything is a Mr. Eyeball checkmate. Rook h2 checkmate, a very beautiful mate, a very nice pattern here because the rook is protected by the king and this rook is smothering the king. After rook takes h2, a very nice mate, trapping the king. Good job, Fob.
Nah.
This is a game that Judit Polgar played against Jonathan Tisdall, and it's one of my favorites. A very nice game. Black to move and win. It's also the X-ray tactic, by the way. So similar to the one we just saw from her sister, Sophia. Oh, what a move. I can't go here because of this rook. Very nice. And if rook takes queen?
Take it, and it's
Exactly. Maybe not, or maybe it is. What can you do now?
I didn't see this rook over here. Mr. Eyeball.
Okay, so if rook takes e4, now after king b1, what?
This is 8-1.
That's right. Rook to h1 check, and I can play rook g1 and you just take it. Queen d1.
Why is it queen d1? This checkmate's more
Okay.
cool.
All right. Well, show it to me. And what's that?
Checkmate.
Very nice. Good job.
Okay.
And wait, let's see why this is so important to play this. Because if you don't do that, you can't win immediately here. You don't even have any really aggressive moves. Rook takes e4, queen takes e4, and everything is guarded. Right? So this must have come as quite a shock. Oh my gosh, what a move. Queen e4. I just love this move. Rook a4 check. This guy cuts it off, and then the rook comes in for the mate.
Can we do a really
So cool.
cool outro?
Sure, what do you want to do for our outro? Where did Fabi go?
Bye, 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 bye.
And don't forget to subscribe.